and welcome to REA's session on managing the challenges of relocation and change. William Bridges, a well-known change management consultant, said it is when we are in transition that we are most completely alive. We're going to spend the next few minutes exploring constructive strategies and techniques for managing the stress that inevitably comes with change. Did you know that every year hundreds of thousands of people move? In fact, many families move routinely every 2 or 3 years. These relocations, most precipitated by job changes, are so common that society often overlooks or minimizes the strain of moving. Here are some typical questions families wrestle with before, during, and after a move. What does the future hold? Will living in the new city be better? What are we leaving behind? Do we cope well with change? Few people would disagree. Moving is stressful. There's a lot of hard, sometimes nerve-wracking work. That could include selling a home, finding a new one, packing, transporting the family goods, and the endless necessary tasks of getting settled back in. A working spouse or partner faces the added challenge of finding a new job while handling the anxiety of temporary unemployment. Children often need extra attention of various kinds depending on their age. And it's painful to say goodbye to friends and family in familiar places. And nearly every aspect of family life changes. Daily routines, schools, the sense of belonging, friendships, and plans for the future. Family members in transition can experience anxiety, depression, lack of focus, sometimes anger, exhaustion, and demoralization. And these feelings collide with our stiff upper lip social norms and our desire to appear in control. Bridges went on to say that change is something that happens to people even if they don't agree with it. Transition, on the other hand, is internal. It's what happens in people's minds as they go through change. Change can happen very quickly, while transition usually occurs more slowly. Bridges created the transition model. He identified 3 stages that we move through as we go through transition. The first stage is ending, losing, and letting go. That's followed by the neutral zone. And finally, the new beginning. People often ask, how long does each stage last? Well, each of us goes through the stages at our own pace. The more comfortable you are with change, the more quickly you will move ahead to stage 3. Stage 1, ending, losing, and letting go. This stage starts when we're first presented with a change. It's often marked with resistance and emotional upheaval, being forced to let go of what is known and comfortable. And the typical emotions during stage 1 are fear and disorientation, denial or a sense of loss, sometimes anger and sadness, certainly a bit of frustration and uncertainty. When we move into stage 2, which is the neutral zone, people affected by the change can often feel confused, a little bit uncertain and impatient. We're still longing for the comfort of familiar routines. At the same time, the neutral zone provides time for rejuvenation, reorientation, and renewal. Stage 3 is the new beginning. This is a time of acceptance and energy. People have begun to embrace the change. They're settling in, feeling more comfortable, and are starting to see the positive results of their efforts. People are likely to experience optimism, high energy, and openness to the new location. Here are some practical tips for managing change and the ups and downs of the emotional roller coaster. Before moving, take the time to say goodbye to people and places. This is an especially important ritual for children. It provides the family with a sense of completion and allows them the chance to anticipate and ease their way into the transition. Tip number 2, mark both endings and new beginnings with events and celebrations. Inaugurate your new home or apartment with a special welcome dinner. Whenever possible, bring children to the new location before the actual move. Show them their future school and any other sites of importance and interest. Tip number 3, take breaks from the swirl of activities surrounding relocation at both ends. Periods of relaxation and time spent alone will help you stay sane and focused. And since relocation is stressful, it's doubly important during this time to maintain regular habits and disciplines and care for yourself physically and emotionally. If you do not already eat nutritionally, sleep on a regular cycle, and exercise, this is a very good time to start. Tip number 4, have reasonable expectations of yourself and others. There are bound to be days filled with aggravation, days of feeling overwhelmed, and times when you wish you could turn the clock back. Recognize these periods as normal and don't be hard on yourself or others for not handling the relocation perfectly. Tip number 5, practice withholding judgment on what is unfamiliar in the new location. If you make rushed judgments about the new area, it will be harder to appreciate what is positive. Tip number 6 is don't be afraid to ask for help. Relocation is a time when it's necessary and expected that you ask for help at both ends of the move. Friends and family are delighted to be asked, whether it's to help pack at one end or to explain the transportation system at the other. By asking for help, you connect, and connection is the key to a healthy adjustment to your new home. And finally, the most important tip, get connected. If your neighbors don't come over to welcome you, take the initiative to introduce yourselves. It's not comfortable for anyone, but do it anyway. Explore your new town or area sometime during the first week. If you plan to join a community group or voluntary association, don't procrastinate. And if you're religious, begin attending services as soon as possible. And a final thought on managing change. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Thank you so much for joining us today and exploring the topic of managing change. We wish you the very, very best of luck with your transition. Goodbye for now.